This is like honeyed mead to the ears of a fascist. Yes, Ben Shapiro, a capitalist shill. And this is great, by the way, for Tucker Carlson fans, the fact that Ben Shapiro is Jewish. Yeah, argue that it's great that we prioritize function over form, that we have all this money being siphoned to the wealthy. The wealthy, who could that be? A Tucker Carlson fan might ask themselves, while you unironically defend the virtue of the world being less beautiful. Ben Shapiro beefing with Tucker Carlson.
Well, folks, Tucker Carlson is a really interesting guy. He has some interesting takes on economics as well. He and I have had discussions about those in the past. He did an interview with Glenn Greenwald recently where he started attacking what he called libertarian economics. And Tucker has a significantly more socialistic view of the economy than I do. Just
I remember going over this. This was, I remember this. A bunch of people, including like Shu and stuff, were like, wow, Tucker really spitting bars here because he was pretending to care about what would happen if truck drivers lost their jobs to AI or automated driving. And I was basically, the whole thing I was explaining how both Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson are wrong. First of all, Ben Shapiro isn't a goddamn libertarian. He has said and done plenty of fascist things. He's not a libertarian, okay? He just goes more for like the Pinochet, like ostensibly free markets paired with a police state attitude of libertarianism, which is, you know, about as libertarian as libertarianism can get. Whereas Tucker Carlson is just a fucking Nazi, you know? But even the Nazis privatized the shit out of their economic sector. So like the Nazis only pretended to care about the working man in Germany for as long as they needed to secure the support of, you know, the populist underclass. It wasn't something the Nazis actually did anything about. What ideology would, you know, build itself off of hyper-nationalism and brutal ethnic segregation and then go, but we're super concerned with the plight of the working class? It's ridiculous.
Well, he was doing an interview the other day with Glenn Greenwald, who's also been a guest on my program, and they were talking about economics. And Tucker went into this...
Misspoke. No value in this segment. It's over. Misspoke. His career's cooked, washed, done.
Rant about the evils of libertarian economics. And I think this is so short-sighted. I think it's really damaging to the future of American prosperity. And it relies on a bunch of falsehoods.
Wait, are even the talking heads calling each other glowies now?
I think a lot of people have awakened to the now demonstrable fact that libertarian economics was a scam perpetrated by the beneficiaries of the economic system that they were defending.
That's true. That's pretty true. That's pretty true. That's pretty true. That's pretty true. Yeah.
So they created this whole intellectual framework.
Okay, pause that for a second. So I don't like this conspiracy theorizing about the nature of libertarian economics.
It's not. Libertarian economists have never been taken seriously anywhere. Their system immediately and inevitably collapses into authoritarianism every single time. They're just not taken seriously.
Libertarian economics says the government should not control the free flow of goods and services. That's all libertarian economics says. A free market has property rights for you and the government.
Please, again, recall that Ben Shapiro has many times supported, like, the government crackdowns on, like, he supported Ron DeSantis, the Don't Say Gay bill, crackdown on, like, what can be presented in schools, like, what can be sold where. Like, the idea that he has, like, some kind of authentic opposition to government control of commerce is bullshit. Also, quick question, Ben Shapiro, do you think people should be able to sell slaves? No? Okay, that's government imposition and economic transactions. Kablamo.
If all of this puts you in mind that the future is uncertain and that, you know, there's a lot of trepidation about what's going to happen, at the very least, you might think about diversifying your finances. You should.
Nope.
22nd. Text Ben to 9.
The Birch Gold Group. Sorry, I forgot. I thought he might be advertising, I don't know, like an investment firm, you know, or like a stockbroker agency or something. No, of course not. I forgot. It's the Daily Wire. So they're like, yeah, unironically, buy gold. Yeah.
98. Here's more of Tucker.
Intellectual framework to justify the private equity culture that's hollowed out the country. That's my personal view, and I've seen it up close my whole life, so I think it's a fair assessment.
Again, whenever Tucker Carlson says something that sounds like it might be based, please remember that he doesn't have any real beliefs. He has his entire life shamelessly and openly lied. His positions will shift depending on who he's talking to. Most of the positions that he pretends to have, he fronts through rhetorical questions. He doesn't directly answer himself. There's no reason, like, he's not a person. is what I'm saying. So there's no point in treating him like one. Ben Shapiro is just arguing against an empty collection of talking points, and he's losing somehow.
I think a smarter way to assess an economic system is by its results. So you can assign whatever
It's called consequentialism.
name you want to the economic system of the United States. You could call it market capitalism. You could call it, you could call it a whole host of different things. But I don't think any of that's useful. Those
Market capitalism seems a little bit redundant, but yeah, we're a mixed economy capitalist system.
are boring conversations. I think you need to ask, does this economic system produce a lot of dollar stores? And if it does, it's not a system that you want because it degrades people.
Holy shit. Tucker Carlson and John Oliver, the left-right front, the wedge attack against dollar stores. That's funny.
And it makes their lives worse, and it increases exponentially the amount of ugliness in your society. And anything that increases ugliness is evil. And it's just let's just start there.
Fascists are obsessed with the morality of aesthetics. This is one of the reasons why fascists always go after modern art, because they think it's purposeless and ugly and therefore must be bad. Now, obviously, if you don't have the brain of a toddler, you can understand that something can be ugly but still be morally good. If you don't think that, I genuinely think you might have brain damage. I don't know how you could possibly not think that. First of all, ugliness is subjective. Of course, good and bad are as well in a moral anti-realist system, but there are at least intersubjective conclusions we arrive at. I think that it's good when people are happy. Let's work off that definition at least. There are lots of things that are ugly but necessary, like, I don't know, sewage work. What about art that's ugly but it makes you think? What if there's art that depicts the horror of the Holocaust, you know? The Holocaust wasn't beautiful and it was bad, but art about the Holocaust that sort of reveals that ugliness can be good because it's a reminder of how bad it was. Of course, Tucker Carlson probably wouldn't want anyone reflecting on the horror of the Holocaust for his own reasons. Now, when he says anything that increases the amount of ugliness in the world is bad, you know, if by, you know, ugliness he meant badness, then that would be tautology. Anything that increases the amount of badness is bad, obviously. This is one of those indicators that's a reminder that Tucker Carlson's presumed moral system is not our moral system. That it's not like you don't have to hand it to him. You know what I mean? Like, in his mind, a dollar store is ugly in the same way a Nazi would have thought degenerate art is ugly. He doesn't think dollar stores are ugly because of the unethical supply lines or because of the cheap crap or the innumerable material, you know, harms it does to society. He thinks it's ugly in the same kind of like broader degenerate way that fascists tend to focus on. Wasn't the Museum of Degenerate Art a massive success with the German public, but when a museum filled with what the Nazi regime considered to be true art was opened, it barely got many visitors? Yep. For the exact same reason trans people are very popular on porn sites. A lot of people who day by day will decry the evils of something or another actually really like it, but you know, they don't want to be seen liking it, so they'll only go to it if it's a museum of degenerate art. So it's literally like degenerate art? Really? That's terrible. At which museum? Let me know so I can avoid it. Not a joke.
So if it's such a good system, why do we have all these dollar stores?
Okay, that is an amazing statement. Why exactly are dollar stores the root of all evil? I should point out at this point that according to Consumer Reports, 88% of Americans shop at dollar stores at least occasionally. My family shops at the dollar store at least occasionally. Almost a third of
This is not a good thing. Is this being framed as a benefit, like a good thing?
respondents in the 2021 Consumer Reports survey said they shop at dollar stores more than once a month. This seems like a really elitist attitude.
Oh my God. Okay, leaving aside the fascist framing, it's like these stores are ugly, they're economically detrimental, they sap wealth from communities, they're horrible to actually shop at, they're cheap crap. And Ben's like, hey, you know what? And you still buy from them. He's actually doing the like perfect capitalist response where somebody points out like, hey, this thing is bad. And Ben's like, well, you still buy that. So, hey, whoa. Like, genuinely incredible. No engagement with anything that makes dollar stores like detrimental. No engagement with the economics of how they siphon wealth from a community or how there might be a race to the bottom for these costs that leads to like unethical supply lines or poor shop management. And people are shopping at these places because they don't have money because of the system that's being criticized. But like, no, he can't engage with any of that. Because Ben Shapiro's just not that smart. Again, I could make his arguments better than him here. but like it's really bad. It's really dumb.
It seems like dollar stores are good. You buy things for $1, or at least you did.
Holy shit. Fuck, I wish this was a debate between him and Tucker. I don't want Tucker to get like popular off of Ben or whatever. I'd rather somebody be a Ben Shapiro fan than a Tucker Carlson fan. But like, Jesus Christ. Like genuinely retarded responses.
Until Joe Biden took office and inflated the currency. Now it's like the $5 store. It is good to have.
Sure, Joe Biden did that. Yeah, he pressed the inflate currency button.
And then he shifts into this discussion of it increases ugliness. Now, when he talks about ugliness, are we talking about like the physical stature of dollar stores? These are not like gorgeous Gothic edifices. They're not beautiful to look at. Well, obviously, that's true. Obviously, it's true that dollar stores are not beautiful to look at. They look like big box stores. Also, that's one of the reasons you can get the product for cheap at the dollar store. Because if they look like Gothic cathedrals that have...
This is what Tucker Carlson is criticizing. That a system that drives down... It's a race to the bottom where everything is made ugly and banal and plain and soul-wrenching in the pursuit of profits for the capitalist class. Dollar stores make a lot of money. If they wanted to reinvest that money into beautifying their stores, they could. They choose not to because capitalists siphon that money off to themselves. The thing that makes dollar stores exceptional is not that they're able to make their prices low. You can get low prices, lower than dollar stores, in other countries around the world. You can go to third world countries and comparatively get much lower prices. The thing that makes dollar stores exceptional is the ratio, the proportion of money that gets siphoned out of them to the capitalist class. The Walmarts did it as well, you know, the Walmart family. They are exceptional in the extent to which they are able to rob surplus labor. And where does that surplus labor go? Where does that money go? Offshore islands. It certainly doesn't go into the fucking economy. It doesn't go into like beautifying their stores or making things nicer. No, it's just whoosh, off into some bank account to sit forever. Yeah, the Waltons, thank you. This is what makes people fascists. Ben Shapiro lying to them, saying, no, this is not only can we not do better, but this is the best it gets. You idiot, you buffoon. Oh, ugly concrete boxes where people get paid like fucking minimum wage and it's always understaffed and you can just get some cheap slop made in China. No, this is actually the best economic system. No meaning, no life, no hope, no wages. Everyone's struggling paycheck to paycheck. No. This is actually as good as it gets. Never mind the fact that tens of trillions of dollars have been siphoned out of the economy and kept in offshore banking accounts. Don't mind any of that. Yeah, whatever. You know, oh, sure, yeah, redistributing that wealth could, like, you know, revitalize the economy and recirculate the dying middle class. But, yeah, you know, whatever. So it's funny because Ben Shapiro here, he opened this video by saying that Tucker Carlson is being conspiratorial when he says that libertarians are just a front for the business interests of the ultra-wealthy. When that's what Ben Shapiro is. The Daily Wire is bought and paid for by right-wing dark money billionaire PACs. He is paid to say what he tells them to say, and he advocates for free market economics to the extent he actually believes in it, because it will make the wealthy patrons of his show more wealthy. That's it. The wealthy need to pay people to lie to back their economic theory up. It's what they did with trickle-down economics because reality doesn't agree with them, and neither generally do economists.
It is because in America, function frequently defeats beauty as a priority. Because Americans are this is like honeyed mead to the ears of a fascist. Yes, Ben Shapiro, a capitalist shill, and this is great, by the way, for Tucker Carlson fans. The fact that Ben Shapiro is Jewish, argue that it's great that we prioritize function over form, that we have all this money being siphoned to the wealthy. The wealthy, who could that be? A Tucker Carlson fan might ask themselves, while you unironically defend the virtue of the world being less beautiful. He's literally, like, this is how you would talk as like an anime caricature of a villainous capitalist. So who cares if my mining expeditions into this ancient enchanted forest make it less beautiful? It's practical. You're the fucking onceler. You fucking retard. You're the onceler. You're oncelering. You're a Dr. Seuss villain. What's the point of wealth if we drain the world of beauty? Oh, well, then you can't afford food. We could have food and beauty.